Hello, everyone. I am a wayward wife, and my affairs happened 7 years ago. I have read all the affair recovery books that get recommended in this corner of Reddit. I also read posts here on a near daily basis and am familiar with some active, noticeable usernames over the years. What prompted me to post is something that I've been thinking about for a few months, and a post I recently saw in Surviving Infidelity. In it, the OP talks about cynicism after being betrayed and that it can really make you feel as though relationships and love are not worth it anymore, and you'll be a fool to ever fall in love again. Many betrayed spouses essentially bash themselves for being stupid, for not seeing the signs, and for believing in love. The truth is, your past self had valid reasons for loving this person, even if you've now grown and would choose differently today. If you are not able to digest this fact, there is a risk that you might end up viewing any and all relationships as pointless. But what will you say to a person who's already gone down the path of cynicism and distrust? What if a person stops believing in love and marriage after being cheated on and seems to be perfectly content with this decision? Do you think such a person is incapable of seeing the positive? Or do you think they simply arrived at their own truth and it doesn't matter as long as they're happy with their conclusion? Sorry for the wall of questions. The post really spoke to me in regards to the state of my marriage. I don't want to ramble about my story because if I start, I will go on for pages and pages. So here's a TLDR, as short as I could make it. Me and my husband have remained in a dead marriage, married only in name. He has insisted on no romantic relationship after my affairs that happened more than 7 years ago. He found out this time of the year in 2015. Owing to some very complicated and exceptional circumstances, it is impossible for us to divorce right now, and maybe for the next couple of years. I'm pretty sure he would have left if given the choice. He still treats me like a good friend, which is far more than I deserve. To be fair, he made it clear at the very onset that our relationship is dead to him, and he will no longer treat me as his wife or harbor any feelings for me. I still waited patiently for 7 years, honoring his every wish and boundary without question, attending therapy, reading all the infidelity books I could find, and putting their ideas to practice. I did all I could do while still honoring his boundaries of no touching, no sex, and no romantic relationship. I knew I was not entitled to anything, but I had hoped being consistent with my actions, trying to understand how in hell I could do something like that to him, or even a stroke of dumb luck will change something. All of this with the hope that one day he'll come back to me, that one day he'll let me love him again. But it seems he's really content with just being friends, roommates. He convinced me to open our relationship shortly after my betrayal, and I know he engages in casual meetups, but never anything serious. I ask him if he has a girlfriend, and he says, no, I have no interest in dating anybody. I myself have not slept with or dated anybody. I was never interested in his offer of an open marriage in the first place, but I don't think he cares. He scoffs at romantic movies and talks about how marriage as an institution makes no sense to him, and people would be much happier if they did not have to live under the societal pressure of being married. When I ask him if he's happy, he says he's never been more content with his life, and he plans to remain a bachelor for the rest of his life. In the last couple of years, I have learned to resign myself to the fact that we'll never be anything more again. I was a serial cheater. I had affairs with 3 different people at 3 different times in our marriage, 2 of them men and 1 woman. I don't blame him for not wanting to reconcile with me. He used to be such a hopeless romantic, and I was too. But I made awful decisions. I fell into the temptation of cheap thrills. Along the way, I committed such vile and disgusting acts that still make bile rise in my throat after 7 years. It is no wonder he lost faith in love after what I did. I took away his ability to love. Of course he doesn't allow me into his room. Of course he rarely spends the night at home. Of course he doesn't care how much guilt and remorse I showed. What breaks my heart the most is how he was never angry with me, not even on the day he found out. I kept wishing that he would scream at me, kick me out, or even hurt me. He never got angry. The only wish I have left is to someday be able to grant him the gift of divorce and never show my face to him again. He, on the other hand, seems to be in no particular hurry to divorce and has said on multiple occasions that he likes my company as a friend. He's even told me that I should start dating, and when I'm ready to remarry, I can file for divorce, seemingly indicating that he won't be the one to file first, even if he had the option. I asked him, what if I don't want to get married and I won't file either? And he said, we'll just die married to each other then. That doesn't sound too bad. It makes a lot of things easier for me. This is why when I read the post today, I mused over these questions for a long time. Is it possible for someone to be content living like this, with no family, no one to love, keeping every relationship casual and simply for sex? Will he always feel this way, or will he change his mind? It has been 7 years, so it's hard for me to imagine him feeling anything towards me other than indifference. But if I leave, maybe someday he will allow himself to heal the part of him that I broke and love someone else again? Or is that just wishful thinking on my part? All I want is for him to be happy, and until now divorcing him seemed like an obvious choice. But now I'm not so sure. Edit. He's not keeping the marriage for financial reasons. There are other reasons why we can't divorce. It will take a lot of explaining in context, but it has nothing to do with finances, and in all truth, I am a liability to him financially. I am in IC and I'll need it for a few more years at the very least. He went to IC for the first 2 years, but not anymore. I have no way of demonstrating love other than acts of service, like cooking for him, keeping the rooms clean, watch out and help him wherever I can. I do love him, but I have never tried to woo him. It is more important for me to respect his boundaries and not do something he has strictly asked me not to. I don't think he sees acts of service as a love language, though. He keeps telling me that I'm obsessed with keeping the house perfect all the time, and I should take a break. I still continue doing it, though. I don't know if it's because it's turned into a habit or if I'm still holding on to a faint hope. Edit 2. I'm pretty sure I would have stayed for 100 years if I knew he would come back to me in the end. But I don't think great selfless acts make you more worthy of love. I think what they bring you is respect, and respect sometimes transforms to adoration and love. I don't want to force him to fall back in love with me. For the last 2 years, I was already slowly coming to terms with the fact that I have no chance with this man, and he's happier without me. I was already preparing myself for divorce and single life. His comments about not divorcing and staying married in this arrangement till we die caught me off guard and made me think about a lot of things, and I eventually made this post to see what other people think. He seems perfectly content with the way things are now, and as seen in the comments, many people feel this is a superior way of living rather than being monogamous. So me staying or not has no bearing on whether he'll be happy in his life or not. So the question now falls on me. He's perfectly fine with spending the rest of his life in this half marriage, but am I happy in this arrangement? The only thing that I miss dearly is intimacy, not even sex, and not with someone else, but with my husband. Everything else I'm content with. He respects me, cares about me, and I enjoy spending my time with him. The intellectual connection we have was never lost. When I look into my soul, there's not a single iota of resentment against him. So the only thing I'm not getting is intimacy. Is it really something to break our marriage over? Seeing or sleeping with someone else sounds like such a far-fetched idea. I still struggle with negative feelings in regards to my sexuality and sex in general, so it's not like I can just go out and have casual sex. I never enjoyed casual sex anyway. I don't want to get remarried ever. I'm not sure about dating again either. Maybe I will be able to move on and start over someday, but at least not for a couple more years. The main reason I was looking forward to divorcing him was with the assumption that my presence was preventing him from healing. So if I left, someday he'll heal himself and look for love again with someone else. But if he feels love is pointless, and if he feels living a casual lifestyle is superior and fulfilling, it falls on me to weigh the pros and cons and think about what divorcing will really bring. Your husband no longer believes in the institution of marriage and monogamy. Your 3 affairs caused him to completely lose his faith in marriage and monogamy. He probably also felt stripped of his manhood with your actions, which probably caused him to be celibate. So it's obviously understandable why he's living the way he does now. He seems content with it, and the only one missing out on things is you. You've spent the past 7 years attempting to repair what you broke. Sadly, if it hasn't worked by now, it never will. I suggest you start divorce proceedings and free that man of this torment. That'll be showing him mercy. Comments. His entire belief system and self-image was shattered. He has rebuilt it in a way that protects his heart. Not wanting love or to give it protects anyone from ever being allowed so deep into the heart that they can completely destroy it. Not believing in marriage as an institution sounds like an evolution psychology approach in that we are all just animals. So why does it matter? Men want to spread their seed to as many women as possible, and women are always looking to monkey branch up to a man they perceive as higher value on some competence or status hierarchy. We are all just driven by these base instincts of survival and pleasure, and everything else is a veneer. I don't believe that. I believe principled love is the essence of an objective truth beyond the material world. Your husband is numb to it because of the great suffering you have inflicted on him. The only way it can be stirred in someone that has been hurt so deep is by great acts of selfless love. Sorry you are here, OP, as your BS. I too was a romantic before my WOS decided to take that away. It took me a couple years to get back in believing in love again. I gave my WS the option to get exit and divorce me. She refused, she worked her ass off, and we did make it today, almost 10 years after D-Day. I never started to date others though. It is still not the same, and I will probably never view love the same again. My WS does. I think she deserves to feel happy and loved. I am guessing that you have figured out your why and make sure you never will cheat again. But you need to figure what you want with your life. Be a little selfish as well. You deserve love. To me, it sounds like you should have a talk with your husband, and then, if not anything changes, investigate divorce. Get a grip on what it would be like. I am sorry, OP.